Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Central Comics Podcast.
And I'm Alex.
I'm Zach.
And in this episode, it's going to be our introduction to this podcast, even though we've already sort of posted some episodes.
Yeah, episode 2 should already be
before
posted and out, featuring one of my friends, Gabe.
But theoretically, this is the first
This is the first one.
Theoretically. Sort of introducing the podcast and stuff. And we're brothers with guests that are on the podcast and stuff. So, yeah, in this episode, we're going to be, again, doing the introduction and then talking about the new Ultimate Universe and comics of the Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe.
Oh, yeah? It'll be fun. Alright, want to get into it?
Yeah, so, so, start off how this is set up. Some of you may know, we run the Comic Central the Comic Central YouTube channel on YouTube, where we talk about comics in a sort of similar way to this. Mm-hmm. But this podcast is talk about and like ramble and talk about more than just comics and movies. Because another thing is we're planning our third episode is going to be a Star Wars tier list.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of comics, because there are some cool Star Wars comics.
Yeah, but it's
mainly we're going to be ranking. Do we want to say?
What?
We want to say what the next episode's going to be?
It's I literally just said it. It's Star Wars movies.
But we don't know what we're doing with them.
Tier list.
There we go.
Spoiling. We're doing a tier list Star Wars movies.
Tier list Star Wars movies.
Which is going to be fun. And
TV shows.
Yeah, and TV shows. Media.
Yep.
Sorta.
Yeah, so that'll be fun for the next episode.
Probably we'll also do some other nerdy stuff. It's going to be mainly comics and stuff. We'll do some Star Wars. We might do something like Harry Potter eventually.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun thing probably to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're more dimensional.
Yeah, and maybe go over some new and upcoming manga series, perhaps.
Yeah, and you can have your friends on who you've manipulated.
Yeah, that have made watch anime and they've liked it.
And then manga. You still haven't gotten your manga back from Gabe, bro.
I've not gotten my One Piece back from Gabe. As of this podcast. But he's going to be back on the podcast, people. Gabe will be back on the podcast. Yeah, he 100% will be back on the podcast.
For more.
For audio people, if this doesn't get to video, Alex and I are indulging in Canada Dry and Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. I would love it, though. I love Canada Dry.
I think that I would love to be in a Dr. Pepper commercial, bro. Those ads, the Fansville.
The Fansville ones are really cool. All right, no, you gotta get into the point. What's the point of this podcast? What are we doing today?
We gotta do our introduction. Well, I guess we sort of already did that. But now let's talk about some alternate universes. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Alternate universes.
Yeah. So, first, do you want to start with, Dees or Dees?
Let's start with the one you got signed.
Signed. Well, we got signed. You have.
Yeah, I have one too that I got signed.
He has one too. It's just this was the last of the standard edition cover, so you have a variant.
Yeah, I have a variant, but the variant's arguably cooler.
Didn't get you the Jim Lee variant though.
Yeah.
The foil.
It's fun.
But this is a signed copy of Absolute Superman 1, which is part of the Absolute Universe by Jason Aaron, who came to our comic shop. Mm-hmm. You weren't there, but I was there and had a great time.
Yeah.
On November 6th.
Yep. Absolute Superman seems like a really cool series. I don't really know too much about it. I only know, like, the summary of Absolute Superman, which is Alex.
Yeah.
Which is?
So it's Superman, had just recently gone to Earth from Krypton, sort of. We still don't know fully. Because the story arc, I think, is 5 issues, and we're only 3 issues in, which I've read all 3 of them, and they're all interesting. But it's sort of his logo that you traditionally have. It's like, hey, you see Superman, the logo, wow. It's sort of a symbol of his caste system of what Krypton is in this universe, which is really interesting to see. And, his parents were going to be in a higher class, and then when he spoke about the destruction of Krypton, it's happening, they were like, can't be saying that. And then they just said no. And then they dropped him down to the lower working class. Where, students in schools are in that class as well.
Yeah, and one of the mainstays of it is Superman is coming to Earth as not a kid.
Yeah,
He is. He's not. Is he an adult or is he a teenager?
he's an adult.
He's an adult. So it's given time for Superman's powers to develop a little bit more on Krypton.
Or, well, no.
Really?
Because remember, Krypton, I still don't know the full scope of it. But I remember Krypton's the red sun, partially. So that's the thing with Earth, is the yellow solar.
sun.
But I think he might have partial.
Yeah.
But
He'll
it's
have
technology.
He'll have. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah. It's a really cool startup to the new DC Absolute.
Yeah, but
Series.
how did this universe come about? Well, you know, show how it
Yeah,
started.
the DC All-In Special.
Where what DC did is, hey, we're gonna have a jumping on point, and along with All In, which I've loved some of the titles, like the new Nightwing and Detective Comics, are great stories so far. Those are the main two I've read of the new All In initiative. But they're like, hey, we're gonna do a starting point. Scott Snyder, Joshua Williamson are the main people who fought for this. And along with that was the Absolute Universe, where it is created by Darkseid's energy, to where there's like no hope, and that's where the changes come in. And creative freedom. So the other two titles that are out right now in this series are Wonder Woman and Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I've heard a little bit about the Batman. I think the Batman Absolute is awesome in with its summary and everything. I haven't actually read the first one, but it has Batman as a blue collar worker. He isn't
He's a middle class
extremely rich. He just works. He's a regular guy.
And his dad was a teacher who died in like a school shooting, sorta.
Yeah.
Like he won an award, and then his dad dies of like, it's not a school shooting, but it's at the zoo because he won an award.
Yeah.
His class got award to the zoo, but his mom's still alive.
Yeah, yeah. Which that's also really cool, and just seeing Batman's suit not being super high tech and being rugged and sewn together not incredibly well. Like it's a really cool side of Batman that you don't really see in the regular comics.
And the logo.
Yeah, and the thick bat logo.
It becomes a battle.
Yeah, and the logo is a battle axe.
No.
Which is awesome.
How do I feel about that? I think that they should have done a more traditional logo, and it still would have worked really well as a battle axe, because it does kind of just look like a rectangle.
Okay, it looks
tiny
like
little
okay.
spikes.
It looks like a rectangle, but let's be honest here. Batman with a battle axe is just awesome.
It is very cool.
So you can't really like dog on it too much.
And sort of what they've set up is Black Mask in the first 3 issues, from what I've seen, and I haven't read 4 yet, but I do have it.
Black Mask is a pretty cool villain.
Yeah, and his design's like wild. Kind of looks like Megamind.
Oh. That's interesting.
Because like the face mask is like massive. Oh no, what have I done?
It's massive.
Oh,
no. All right, going on to Wonder Woman.
Going on to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman grew up in the depths of of 7734. If you have not watched Relentless, what that means is she literally grew up in hell.
Yeah.
With like the Amazons being extinct by the gods, and it shows like how she met Steve Trevor, like formerly as he was traveled there, and then she like made a sacrifice to bring him back to the world of the real world, and it just is amazing, and her design is just...
Yeah, the design speaks for itself. Like that is an awesome design. Yeah. Especially like the tattoos on her right arm are a really cool touch.
Yeah.
Or maybe not tattoo, but like a mark of some sort.
Yeah.
I haven't read Wonder Woman yet.
Yeah. Isn't red.
But it looks really awesome.
Now, I think... Well, we've talked a lot about that. It's... Oh, wait, I forgot to talk about Absolute Flash and Green Lantern.
Oh.
So, in March, I think it might be exactly on your birthday. Maybe a day or two before.
Cool.
It might be when we're at Comic-Con, actually. Absolute Flash comes out.
That'll be awesome. What's the story behind that one?
Wally West is the only Flash. There's no Flash family or anything.
Huh. What about Green Lantern?
I don't know. Apparently, it might be a new character, so we don't fully know. I don't know what's going to release.
New Green Lantern?
Maybe. I don't know a lot of information about Green Lantern. There's more
That'd
about
be cool.
Flash, and Flash is by Jeff Lemire, and I cannot recall the artist. But Jeff Lemire I love. He did Robin and Batman, one of my favorite comics ever. And he's in a lot of other comics like Animal Man and a lot of independent books.
Yeah. Gotta talk about Marvel now.
Yeah. Ultimate Universe. You want to talk about X-Men
Ultimate
first?
Universe. So, I've read the first around 4 or 5 issues of Ultimate X-Men. It is very good, and the art direction is phenomenal. Peach Momonoke, I believe that's how you say it. She is an amazing illustrator, and I'm pretty sure I think she's writing it as well, partially. But she's phenomenal, and her art with kind of pastel-esque colors and like the crazy villains that pop up and the concurring villain is just awesome so far, as well as the introduction of as new characters that I've never heard of, at least, and they could be characters.
They are new characters.
Yes. Oh, okay. So they're really cool characters, and I love the way that they explore those characters and their pasts. It's just a very good start for an Ultimate series. And then also, I'm going to tag on the Ultimates.
Read a bit of that.
I've read the first issue, not much really past that, but also the fact that the Ultimate Universe, the new one, is based after what happened with the Maker.
Yeah.
And I love the Maker, Reed Richards, as a villain and as a character. Phenomenal writing of that character. Yeah. I really enjoy the Maker. And the fact that that's taking place after the events of the Ultimate Universe with the Maker is awesome. And I love the Ultimates because it also shows, and I don't really know too much about the Ultimate Universe before this, but Tony Stark, his dad was Iron Man, and Tony Stark is Iron Lad, right? I believe that's true.
I don't fully remember.
I could be wrong.
I know it's Tony Stark now.
But Tony Stark is wasn't the first Iron Man, and his dad died during that timeline, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because he's carrying on like a family thing, and then also having the Reed Richards of that universe being Doctor Doom is also a really cool touch. And how they're using the I'm forgetting the name of the engine, but that they're using it for time traveling purposes.
Yeah, because of what
awesome.
What the Maker did.
Yeah.
People are sort of wanting the Maker to be in Secret Wars and partially do a minor reboot of the MCU, actually.
That would be awesome.
And people are wondering, that would be funny,
after Fantastic Four, that would be very possible, because you could introduce something like the Maker after you introduce Reed Richards.
No, what they're saying is after Fantastic Four, they're time traveling into, like, current, because it's in the 60s.
Yeah.
So,
you're right,
exciting.
you're right.
But what people are wanting is the Maker to be played by Miles Teller.
That would actually
after Fan Four Stick, bro.
That would actually be a really good casting. I love Miles Teller. He does so well in all the roles he did. It's just the Fantastic Four movie was not.
It's not. I think he could have been a really good Reed.
He could have 100% been a really good Reed Richards.
I think the best cast.
I think picking them when they were younger doesn't really make too much sense to me. I'm gonna be honest. I know Reed was younger when he did it, but he was actually a little bit older in the comics, right? He was like, he wasn't early 20s.
30s.
He was in his 30s when he got those powers.
I think, yeah.
So, I don't know. I think them doing Young Fantastic Four was doomed from the start, but what am I going to say?
Also, like, Sue was just younger. Like, Johnny and
Sue was younger. Yeah.
Sue was 25 or something. Like, there's 10
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was like a 10-year gap, which worked because that shows that Reed's been working on this stuff for so long, and then he was able to get... Whatever. Fan Four Stick sucked. Cool CGI, though.
Bold.
I didn't like Fan Four Stick.
Bold claim. Fantastic Four
really?
Sucked.
No. Fan Four Stick.
Or Fan Four Stick. Fantastic
Four.
Fantastic Four 20... Was it 16?
Somewhere around there.
2016.
The original Fantastic Four, I put on my top 10 movie list for the episode that dropped.
You can watch right now.
Which you can watch currently.
But, again, the naked scenes were really weird.
Yeah, but, like, it was the first introduction to the Fantastic Four. Fan Four Stick kind of killed it.
Yeah.
That was dead in the water. I love Miles Teller though. Miles Teller does amazing performances,
Yeah.
especially him in Whiplash. Phenomenal movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. I think that now we need to talk about the thing of what the maker did, which was he made sure that key events didn't happen, like Spider-Man, like he wasn't bitten by the spider.
Yeah, because he interacted with Peter before
He
he would have been
spider.
bitten by the spider
Before he was
in the
16.
lab. Yeah.
So now Peter is 35, and the trade paperback is literally called this. He's married to MJ with children, which it's sort of like making fun of the modern Spider-Man in 616 because of Paul, man.
Yeah, Paul.
Frickin' Paul, man.
Those who know.
Those who know, those who don't know.
Those who don't.
You don't
know.
need to know.
You don't need it. Yep. You don't need to.
There's been not a single Spider-Man comic, other than this Ultimate Spider-Man. There hasn't been a single Spider-Man comic since 2009.
Wow. Yeah, no, but the Ultimate Universe, the maker stopped key events like Peter wasn't Spider-Man when he was younger.
Yeah, and like Matt Murdock's in there, and he's like blind.
Yep.
I think, but he like doesn't have the powers.
Yeah.
And didn't become.
Yeah.
Or
And,
he might not be blind actually, but he's a priest.
and the maker has a whole
Bunch of these.
he
case
also
errors.
has a whole dialogue where he talks about in the older comics before this one in the Ultimates, where he goes on about how changing in the butterfly effect, how changing something so small can have ramifications that are huge. Like Spider-Man was one of the most known superheroes in the Marvel Universe,
Yeah.
and in New York for being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and because he literally captured the spider, it's not anymore. He's
Never-
not.
never
No
happened.
one's never gonna happen.
And also, like, he messed with Captain America being unfrozen, which didn't happen until
Yep.
Ultimates 1.
Yep.
And it starts in, I think, Ultimate Invasion is the miniseries that starts off the universe. And then that ended, I think, just before January, where Ultimate Spider-Man started. I don't have the first few issues collected, but I have 5, and then I have 8 up until the issue that's released most recently, which is 12, and 13 releases in 6 days from now. But this is a fun Christmas issue where it brings up MJ having a sister.
Oh, that's cool.
And also, there's the 2 kids. Richard's amazing, and I guess we have to do minor spoils. Uncle Ben's alive.
Yeah.
He worked for the newspaper, and then they quit at the Daily Bugle and started their own paper. And, like, J. Jonah Jameson wrote a book, and he, like, gave it to Richard for his birthday, and he read it, and it was, like, Richard's one of my favorite characters in the story. And the art is by Marco Cacchetto. And, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the other artist, but there's another artist who fills in and, tries to, like, perfectly replicates the style of Cacchetto, where I didn't notice it wasn't.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then also coming out, what came out recently, actually yesterday, and I didn't buy it because I'm being a cheapskate because college
boy.
interesting. But Ultimate Wolverine, where
He's apparently like the Winter Soldier.
where Wolverine is the Winter Soldier, and he is used as the agent to take out people and not Bucky, which is really cool, and also gives a double meaning to Winter Soldier because Wolverine is from Canada. He deals with winter all the
time.
Which, that is just such a cool touch, and being able to see Wolverine in, like, brainwashed like that would be really cool to read. I haven't read the first one, but I feel like it would be really cool.
This is making me think of what we're gonna do. We're gonna need to bring like posters and stuff for the Canada set, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on Ultimate Wolverine. That one's really cool, or it looks really cool.
And then
I
there's
need to get it.
The other titles are Black Panther,
Yes.
and those are the only ones. And then I think there's more releasing.
Yeah. But those are really cool. Also, like, coming off the back end of a really big comic event for Marvel, which is the Maker, which is awesome, expanding on events like that.
Yeah, and it's fun. of what they're doing and just in general with it. And what we're sort of liking is how these universes have creative freedom.
Yeah. Because it's a new universe, they can kind of do what they want with the characters. Like, that's evident with, like, the Absolute does it the best, honestly, with what they're doing, because it isn't tied to anything.
Yeah.
Where the Absolutes, it is completely different versions of the character with different backgrounds, different backstories, which is phenomenal, which is awesome, because that's how you get introduced to new characters.
I'm just wondering, has a lot happened in Ultimate X-Men? As of, like, the story, are, like, the issues, like, very heavy? Or is it a slow burn? Is what I'm wondering.
The issues are, it's kind of a slow burn. You get introduced to the main villain, though.
Yeah, that's what I've learned, is that it's very much a slow burn.
But it's really good.
And I know that I've spoiled a good amount, but I'm not going to spoil what happens in issue 12. But when that hits, people were theorizing what happens. Like, Dennis Flames said it, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably what's happening. But what happens in issue 12, it's like we knew it, and it's amazing.
For Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, for Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's a slow burn, but it's worth the wait. And if you're not wanting to collect it, the trade paperbacks, the second trade comes out in March. Which means it's 3 months behind the singles. So
that's cool. I like that they're doing that, how they're releasing those so fast. What? Because I don't know how comic scheduling normally works, but seeing them release and do that turnaround to put all those issues into a paperback is really fun.
Yeah,
and
but
cool.
that's one
and good for me, because I don't collect individual comics that often.
Brokey.
I say, okay, calm down, buddy. I don't collect individual comics often. I say that owning the entire Superior Spider-Man run from 2015 and 2018, but that's besides the point. That is not what I'm talking about. Superior Spider-Man is just different for me.
Yeah, but what if you just get 3 or 4 titles? $20 a month is not horrific. It's
not, but that's a DoorDash order, man. That's that's a meal out. That is about 2 Cane's meals for me.
You're not like your roommate, though. You're not
that's
your
true.
Roommate.
I'm not, but that's besides the point.
I'm not outing your roommate.
That's besides the point. But yeah, I do really enjoy the variants of individual comics, though. They're really fun. Especially like the one I got, which is awesome for Absolute, and also the variants of I have 2 variants of the Superior Spider-Man comics that are just awesome. But
I like the standard covers of the Ultimate. I don't get variants because I just love these covers.
The standard, so I like the Ultimates covers are clean. They are so clean, and I love having they have that white bar on the side, and they have like their own color,
and it has the U. It has the U.
Yes, it has the U with the little symbol in it for each character.
Yep.
And like the X-Men one is awesome. It's yellow. The Black Panther one's cool. It's purple. The Ultimates is blue. That's sick. The Spider-Man is red. That's awesome. Like, all of them are just really well made. And in between the bars of it, you have little. It cuts off. It cuts off the art from the main thing, and it adds onto it.
It's just spectacular.
Yeah, it's just it's awesome. Yeah,
and
it's such a cool cover. Same with the Absolutes. The Absolutes have really cool art as well. It's just not as cohesive as the Ultimates.
Just the
However,
cover art's great.
It doesn't need to be cohesive because all these stories are completely different.
And there's the new DC logo.
Yeah, and the new DC logo.
It's a throwback.
Yeah.
40 years ago, their logo was that, and then they just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all these Absolute comics are different versions of the characters. They aren't all cohesive into one universe, right? Or am I wrong?
They're in one universe.
Okay, never mind. They're cohesive to one universe. However, the Ultimates is coming off of a big event that is going to be cohesive with all of the titles under it.
Yeah.
So I think making the choice to have all of them like that is great for Marvel. And I'm a big Marvel guy. Alex is more of a DC guy, but I'm a big Marvel guy, and I really enjoy the cohesiveness.
But I'm bleeding into Marvel a lot. Like, you can see my epics, and then behind our big shoulders, I have a ton of Marvel Omnis.
Yeah.
I have more Marvel Omnis than DC right now, and then I need to get my OPB order because I'm not blaming JP. But all I'm saying is that USPS sucks at shipping things. It's going to be here Tuesday.
What are you going to do?
It's been 2 days. It's still not here. I'm angry. I just want my Green Lantern to Justice League by Jeff Johns.
Ooh, those are solid ones.
They're very good.
Those Jeff Johns Green Lantern?
Jeff Johns Green Lantern.
I'm going to have to steal that from you.
Later. Someday.
Yeah, someday.
You'll have to go home. I guess you have to come home or read it, Zach.
I'll have to.
Darn!
Dang it.
That sucks.
Didn't really want to have to do that.
And I guess we have to record more podcast
we're
episodes
going to have to record more podcast episodes here.
It's tragic.
Oh, real catastrophe.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, but what they're doing with their respective universes is really cool. And I love seeing how they change the characters ever so slightly, and it just becomes big, and the ramifications are huge for that universe.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, Alex.
I think there's one more thing to talk about before we wrap this episode. No, this one's a bit shorter.
It's been shorter than the other one, but
next one will be longer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing I want to talk about is single issues now actually weighing a lot more. Where in the early 2000s, even just like last year, what writers would normally do is they'd write for a trade, also known as like a paperback, where you'd collect like six of these issues, and it would complete one full story arc. Which now, thankfully, it happened a bit earlier, but now, thankfully, it's more of less than like 7 story arcs. It's more like 3 story arcs, or it's one-off issues, but each issue has weight and is important to the story. Other than some books like Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's awesome. Again, makes it so people can buy each issue and have something to bite on every single time they get it.
And it's important and actually exciting to wait each month.
Yeah, because then you'll be like, oh man, I don't know if something crazy is going to happen in this one because of what happened in the last ones. Because that was awesome.
Like, I'm dying to read the next issue of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Gotta wait 6 days, buddy.
Oh, it's definitely going to be more than 6 days.
Is it more 6 days? I thought you said it was 6 days until 13.
But I can't drive there, Zach.
You're right, you cannot drive there, and I will be not here. So Dad'll have to drive you.
Probably.
Alright. That's what I got.
I think that's it for this episode. No, this is short. This is under 30 minutes, but normally they're going to be longer. And we'll see you guys next time for Star Wars.
Yeah, and welcome to the Central Comics Podcast.
I'm Alex.
I'm Zach.
And, again, see you next time.